They're gonna take that any way they want to.
Take it exactly how it sounds because it felt that good.
Man on man, hot, angry, steamy action.
Well, I haven't had a daddy in a while, so it feels good.
I don't know. You're going to service calls at 11 o'clock at night. You must have some sort of daddy.
Bro,
Somebody's paying.
Dude, I was at ShopRite on service call at 4 o'clock in the morning last night.
What's it like to have work? Because I have a service company that doesn't have any work.
It's.
I mean, it's a new company. It's right where it should be. It's right there.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to find that right client, man.
I got a few clients, but everybody's cheap. I need somebody that's just rolling hard. Just want somebody who can show up, I guess.
They don't exist.
Well, they do. They're just cheap as fuck still.
Yeah.
they're just cheap as F still.
There's no such thing as a client out there. It's like, dude, I want to pay the most possible. So, I mean, really just make up a number that's outrageous and I will fucking stick with it till, till the rapture. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
What the hell just happened? Your internet connection just like buckled and then your screen shrunk on me.
What?
Like, look at you, you're small, and now you're bigger. Oh, did you do that, you son of a bitch? Stop touching things.
Oh, I didn't touch a thing. I'm just sitting here talking.
It's because you know what it is? I think it's that the quality dropped. Your internet must have hiccuped pretty hard.
Well, I mean, I know that this video camera has like a...
Yeah, it probably reduced size to try to keep the...
It zooms in to, like, it finds me and then...
No, that's not what was happening. You just got smaller. The whole box got smaller. It went smaller in the window. Like, the whole thing went in the window. So what it was probably doing is reducing the size of the frames because it was trying to keep the image clean. Bigger image takes more pixels and shit. What are you talking about? What are you doing? Are you like a mime? Everybody watching in podcast land, he is like he is freaked out by the fact that he's on camera right now. He informed me of this before we started, and he's tripping hard. Not on drugs, on life, just on reality, I guess.
My point being is, I mean, if you do enough E for long enough, it just...
If you do enough E, it just sticks, eh? Just wake up every morning. Actually, I'll tell you what was fucked up, getting out of that Oculus Rift. Honestly, I swear to God. Okay, so the last couple weeks I've been ending my nights by... Frank took a snapshot. Oh, you're so sexy.
No, I was doing that. So that's what that
yeah, I think it's just a button press. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to take a picture of those. Snapchat tells me about those, Frank. Those are supposed to be 7-second shots. You're supposed to be nasty for only 7 seconds. I don't even know. Is it 7 seconds? I don't use Snapchat. But anyways, the Oculus. So I've been using that bitch. That virtual reality finally showed up, and I've been using that thing before bed, which I'm going to say on a side note, we'll get back to this. I found it very medical so far in a sense of like exercise, like aerobic style exercise, honestly, because, and we'll get into that. But first, a lot of the games, you teleport to move, right? Like you can move. I've got room scale, right? So I've got like it set up on a little track wire, so with like a spring set. So like if you move too much, it'll just kind of, the wire will pull on the springs, so it doesn't like break anything. It doesn't like pull the headset off your head and shit. That way, if you do like, go like, and you like move for something really aggressively, and you go to the extent of the wires, all the little tracks will just extend, and the wire becomes longer because instead of being on the ceiling, it's 5 feet down from the ceiling all of a sudden. The whole thing just, and if you set it up right, like I've tied it in a way where it can't tug on the computer. So like I've like tie wrapped it somewhere. So worst case scenario, it'll tug on like on a solid part eventually, but it never gets there. By the time it goes through the different pulleys and springs they're not springs, they're like retractable. Well, think like that winch that like drops the light in the shop, and you reach up and grab the shop light and you pull it down from the ceiling, like in a garage.
Right.
You got one of those lights up on the ceiling, like, on those little wheel things, like, it's like a retractable wire, like an extension cord. You pull the light down into the hood of the vehicle and you get it in there. It's like that kind of thing. So they retract and they just pull back. They're just like they retract when there's no pressure on them. So then the wire goes back to the ceiling and it's back so you can stand and do everything. But anyways, where I'm going with this is that the fuck was I going with that? It was
way off topic radio.
way off topic, but it was no, it was about the first thing was aerobics, but so I've got the room scale thing. Oh fuck, I was going somewhere else with that, but the aerobics part is awesome because I've been doing it before bed every night. No, yeah, honestly, like I've been playing pistol whips.
Doing aerobics in bed. Oh,
I don't even know what I was talking about. Do you remember what I was talking about? Fucking high as shit, I guess.
Yeah, you were talking earlier about how you and your girl were 96ing each other the other night.
No, we weren't. I mean, I wish. What's a 96? Is it just a 69 backwards, you son of a bitch? I'm like, fuck it. What is a? Would that even work? Wait, say that again. 96, 90.
You fart in each other's face.
Why? Did you ever actually see Two Girls in One Cup?
Yes, I have.
So you were a victim of the 90s as well. you came out of the 90s.
Of Opie and Anthony.
Oh my god! What, he showed that, or just told you where to
showed
get
it to every guest who ever came in the fucking. They're like, hey.
What do you mean, like
Ozzy Osbourne?
where?
Have you ever watched Two Girls One Cup? Oh, you gotta see that. It's radio. I mean, you can't see what they're doing.
So wait, so you hear? Well, I guess really all you hear is that
you just hear reaction, like, oh my god,
Yeah,
and then Jimmy
reaction
Norton's over in the
videos.
corner, like, yep, there.
Did you see the one with Kermit where he spits on his? They set Kermit up to watch to watch Two Girls One Cup.
Missed that one.
He's like, oh God, no! Oh God! oh! And then halfway through, you see him look around, and he spits on his ass. He starts beating up to it. It's honestly one of the funnier things I've seen.
This is why I wish I had my iPad. I could bring it up and like I could hear him doing
It
that.
probably has fucking copyright. That whole music. Remember that beautiful, elegant, wonderful music that they had playing, where those two women violated each other's mouths. With that was okay. So you watched it, right? So here's the thing for the audience that may never have actually seen it, because it is pretty. I don't think. Can you find it? I haven't looked. I feel like if you look for that, you're on a database somewhere. That's terrible.
I haven't looked in 15 years.
It is banned, literally. Like, that video is literally like illegal to have. It's so disgusting.
Dude, it is old too.
Yeah, but it has to be real. I watched it. You watched it.
Real.
That was there's no way that wasn't real. I watched it come. That
real,
shit came out of that anus, no pun intended.
Like fucking Jello.
There was no cuts. That's the thing. Like,
Dude,
it'd be different if it came out.
Yeah.
It'd be different if it came out and there was like this would be so demonetized, but we're not monetized anyways. But it would be different if it came out and like changed, like there was like a scene edit, like, and we were like, that's where they changed it. It had to have been changed. But like, this shit was no cuts. It's like they squirted that shit into a fucking cone and went at it. Was it a cone or a petri or like a dish? Was it a sundae dish?
It was
like
a
wine glass,
wine glass or some shit.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, it was a wine glass if I remember correctly.
Oh, it was terrible. I got battle scars from it, bro. What?
I mean, they're classy women, you know.
They were sexy bitches, but that's fucked. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Maybe they weren't sexy bitches.
so-
I was young. Maybe every bitch that was,
You know,
well, every girl that was naked was probably sexy to me.
well, yeah. Well,
I mean,
back
I was
then,
probably like 12.
like back then, that was hardcore fucking shit. Like, but now the shit that I've seen on porn, I'm like, that ain't nothing.
Once you've seen German fart porn, you're out, eh?
It's funny because that joke that I heard tonight about this 96 was about a German guy and his wife.
The fuck is my phone? I haven't
And
tweeted this.
they're like 80 something, which made it worse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, so now you know what a 96 is.
96. That's terrifying. But
It's
is this
funny.
actually something that happens? I doubt it's common. But I was on Pornhub the other day. Don't ask me why. Doing research.
Yeah, research.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was researching.
Pornhub the other day, doctor's office, doctor's orders and all. There's just something wrong. There's
Wait. The magazines you had were so outdated when you were in there. Did they let you bring your phone in with you?
Of course I did.
Oh, they preferred you to use your own sticked-up phone.
No, they wanted me to, sit on the big comfy leather couch with all the doggy pads on it, and they wanted me to watch any of the 4 DVDs. One DVD was a burnt DVD.
So like a pirated copy too.
Yeah.
It's like they downloaded it online. Hospital doesn't make enough money.
Well, they had the one volume. It was like volume 12. I forget. It was like Secretary Fuck 12 or something. So they had Secretary Fuck 13 on a burnt.
I can't show this because we're live. I have one right here. It was given to me by I was helping a friend move. Honestly, this is where it came from. I've put it in, but really, who watches fucking DVDs anymore? Plus, the internet porn's been so capable and.
Dude, I haven't hit a fucking porn anything.
Yeah, my wife even knows it's here. It's not even like it's hidden. It's just in there because where else do you put it? It's in my drawer.
Dude, I still have porn videotapes. They're sitting right there. They're
I have one porn tape. It says "All Dogs Go to Heaven" on it. That's not the movie that's on there anymore, though. It's a good movie when it was on there, but that's not what I taped on there eventually. All dogs go to heaven. Stacy goes to Dallas. That's what ended up happening to that one.
Or all doggy style in heaven.
Oh my god. I can imagine Frank with a phone jerking off to the latest Planet Discovery.
No, it was the bitch was suspended by hooks and
Team Skeptic on there. Father Skeptic.
Dude, I seen a porn the other day where they basically had a naked chick in this iron cage that you could spin her, and they were skewering her over a fire.
You see those ones where they're pretending that I don't want to say the R word because you really like just so you know, Frank, lesson for YouTube, that's a bad word. The R-A-P-E, you know what you did to me, that word.
Oh, yeah.
That word. You don't even want to say that word on YouTube typically.
But clinic in the first place. Yeah.
But those videos are fucked. They fucked. I don't want to see that. That's weird. That's a weird fetish.
You mean
that's an odd fetish to really want her to. Well, the ones where they're acting like they're absolutely, totally doing that to someone. That's a fucked up, weird thing.
The real ones are fine, but yeah.
Well, I mean, in an intense moment. I'm just kidding. This is terrible. Cut that out of context.
I mean, if it's going to be on, it might as well be the real thing. I mean, I don't,
But in all reality, that's not the shit I'm there for. That's kind of and really, I feel like the people that are staying around to watch that whole video should maybe be on a list of some sort, possibly.
I hope so.
I don't believe in listing people, but you know what I mean. I feel like you have some characteristics that would be of curiosity to the right people. That's all. I just feel like the right people could hear about this.
Wait, dude, when I delivered pizzas for a decade, just even when I was making, $25 an hour doing electrical work, I would still deliver pizza because it's such easy money. You know what I mean? And I would deliver in the work van. So
what's easy money? How much would you make in a goddamn hour?
On average, 45.
That's pretty good for. But the
fuck yeah, for straight up cash money bling bling.
Cash money bling bling. But are you fulfilled, Frank? That's the question I have to ask you. Are you fulfilled as a pizza boy? If you're making $45 an hour and all you gotta do is drive around and deliver pizzas, that's pretty fucking awesome. But the thing is, that's unreliable. You can't guarantee. That's a top day. You bitch.
That's a Friday and a Saturday night.
Okay, so what about Monday through frickin' Wednesday?
Might as well not even show up.
Yeah, okay. So that's
Mondays are the worst. Oh my god, do you just basically hate your life? But see, I was already working, so I didn't give a shit. I already
You know what
had
I
a job.
mean, though. It's not like it's gravy train all day long. Like, sure, they make a lot of
No,
money delivering on a Friday and a
because
Saturday night, but
yeah, because then the guy delivering your pizza would be dropping it off in a Porsche.
well, I mean, okay, but not to be. I mean, if he's Filipino, he probably is showing up in something like a BMW. Because
Um,
like I've been,
literally 80s model.
I've seen them here anyways, where they're pulling out construction material, and buddies they're rolling up in BMWs and Mercedes, and they're putting on their overalls to go do their construction reno removal job, and the thing is, it's like that doesn't match, and what it is it's money that's come into the country. And I'm not hating it anyway. It's just it's money that's because they're young too. They're younger than I was young, and I said to the one guy, I'm like, "It's a nice car." He's like, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like, "It's okay. My parents buy me things too." I was like, "Cause it's like there's no way you fucking bought that thing with your goddamn, pulling out bags of waste debris at a building with a dust mask on your face." Like, you know what I mean? It's like it was like hazardous waste removal. So it would be like if the floor in a building has like 0.1% asbestos in it, they would you got to hire one of these companies to go and like wear masks on their faces and go in and remove it and all that shit and properly dispose of it.
Somebody sounds jealous.
I'm not. No. I've had a fairly privileged upbringing. I meant it when I said my parents buy me things too. I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." Like, it's just like, don't pretend it's yours. Don't pretend you bought it. I don't pretend that. My parents bailed me out of one of my cars. I don't pretend that I paid for that car in the end.
That's
It happens.
my first car was given to me. I did not have to buy it.
I've had more than too many cars given to me because my parents were very generous. Like, they bought us. Well, my first car was a fucking it's okay. When we say cars, it's not like It's not like I was rolling around in like F-150s and shit like this, okay? So like my brother and I, we both shared it. It was a Tracker Geo that was like light blue, like baby blue with like a pink swirl along the side of it, and like
I can imagine your ass jumping out of a fucking Tracker.
get out of my dream, but no, it was honestly, it's a really awesome car. Cause it was you know the ones they're talking about. They're made by like Pontiac, Geo. They were like Chevy. They were all the same. They had that. They had that.
Was half the size of a Jeep.
Well, yeah, they were like a little tiny Jeep, and they had like 2 front seats, and they, you could put 3 people in the back, which was crazy because you're stuffing fucking people back there. Oh yeah, there was 3 seats back there. Oh yeah. Man, you're going to the beach with friends. That thing's fun. But then in the summer, we'd have the top down. So we'd take the hard shell off, right. And you would put the soft top up. But in the winter, okay, so get this, in the winter, and my brother had this car, and then I got this car.
In the winter, that thing had to be just an ice box.
Fuck, we changed. Okay, so we had the hard top, so we would pull off the soft top, and you'd put the hard top on, and it latches down, and it has rubber seals, but still, they're fucking garbage. So like, we had a blanket, we had blankets in the back. My brother and I so picture 2 guys going to high school, and we're like stuffing fucking blankets in the holes in the edges where you can hear that of the negative fucking 30 degrees Celsius air ripping through the thing. And like basically it has like, whenever you drove it, I had it through all high school. It was a good vehicle. In the end, it was like, in the winter, it was always like heat at maximum. Like, you just didn't turn it off. If you fucking turned the fan down or the heat down at all, that bitch would start cooling down immediately. Like, it was like the whole time you're like, what? Because the fans are just always ripping.
So somebody lights a cigarette and cracks the window. You go, no!
Yeah, no, that's basically like, there's no need to crack the window. It's getting sucked out the fucking back.
Bro, my first job, my first electrical job in the winter, it was my second year in the trade, right?
Okay.
It took about an hour, almost 2 hours, the better of 2 hours basically, to get down to Maryland from where I live in South Jersey and back, right? So, dude, I'm talking from like November to the end of February, so the coldest months here, and it gets about, I don't know, about 10 Fahrenheit, which is
That's kind of sweet.
You know, 20. It's like basically
It'd be-
22 degrees Fahrenheit below your zero.
No.
You know what I
I
mean?
know. I know where everything is. 32 Fahrenheit is 0 Celsius. At about 10, you're probably negative
But yeah,
15.
it was me and the boss's son in the back of a pickup truck with a cap on it, right? Where
Yeah, but
the
negative 15
fucking
is
back
downright
window,
fucking quaint for here. Like, to
huh?
be honest, well, but your negative 10 Fahrenheit or your plus 10 Fahrenheit is downright
Doing
quaint for here.
doing 70 down the turnpike.
Doesn't matter. We do 100. We do the same 70 with it negative 38 Fahrenheit. Do you know that negative 40 they
Wind
cross?
chill at that point is like you're almost dead.
I believe it. You can die up here.
What I'm saying, we would be sitting in the in the back. The back of the glass would not shut, so that would flap a little bit. It was windy as shit, and we would be knee to knee, just passing a blunt back and forth, just chattering, and like we'd have like 4 layers of clothes just so we can get to the job site and wire a Hampton Inn, which is nothing but cold concrete and steel.
I believe it.
It was hell, dude.
It's goddamn cold here all the time in the winter. Actually, this winter's been pretty mild.
Yeah, this winter's been a joke. Dude, fucking January something, and I'm literally didn't even need a jacket today. It was beautiful, except for the
which
rain
is absurd. I mean, the thing is, it's not been great for me when I do heating and cooling. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's been awfully slow. My dad's like, you're not getting any calls. I'm like, it's fucking -3. It's -3. That's like 30 degrees or 28 Fahrenheit. It's like we get down to -40 Fahrenheit without the wind chill here. Like, that's -40 Celsius. -40 Fahrenheit, -40 Celsius to the point where they
cross paths again.
Yeah, that's the only, that's like one of the only spots where they kind of meet. Actually, I think it's the only spot where they meet. It's the only spot where they actually cross paths. -40. -40 in Fahrenheit is -40 in Celsius. And that's without fucking wind chill. Like, I've had days where they woke up and they're like, it's -52 with wind chill Celsius, and then you're like, holy shit. Like, you go out to start the vehicle, if you didn't plug it in, which, by the way, for anybody who's listening in a warm climate, plugging your vehicle in is something you do. Well, a lot of people actually don't know what that is, I've found out, because, of course, why would they? Well, if you live in Florida and you've always lived there, why would you understand? Why would you plug your car in?
Well, no, time out. I mean, are you talking when you have a diesel for the glow plugs?
No, I'm talking about because the car won't fucking start if you don't plug it in, so it warms
what do you
itself.
have, heat tape wrapped around the engine or something?
No, there's a fucking engine block heater.
There is? I never heard of this.
Exactly. See? Like, when I imported my Subaru from Florida, I had already ordered a Subaru brand block heater, and when they had to change the coolant one day on it, I tossed it onto the counter and said, while you're changing the coolant, you guys can crank that in there, because they're going to have the coolant out of the car already. So they installed a block heater, and which, the car was new, so it didn't really need one at first because they're pretty powerful. But as they get a little older, they tend to not want to crank as well as they used to when they were a newer car, and stuff. But I'm telling you right now, if it's -40 Fahrenheit, that bitch won't even turn over. If you don't plug it in at night, so what happens? Okay, so let's say
ice.
Well, okay, so let's say you're a service, like you're an electrician, or I'm a heating guy. I gotta fix heat, and let's face it, when it's -40 like that, like, which is absurd. Don't get me wrong, it only does that for 1 or 2 nights here and there. That's really cold. I don't live in the Arctic. I only live a couple hours from America, for Christ's sakes. But when that happens, I'll get busy. Well, if you don't plug your van in, you'll go out to start it, and I swear to God, you'll go out there at like 4 a.m. when you get a service call, and you'll put the key in, and you'll go to turn it. It'll literally go, wow, tick, 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 tick. That's it. Like, the battery won't even turn the engine. The oil becomes like thick, like tar.
Cranking amps.
Well, the oil becomes like tar, and of course the cranking amps on the battery drop as it gets colder too. So
basically, it's like, you need to buy like one of the best. Like, so how much are your batteries?
No, your battery won't. The battery won't matter. No, we use regular batteries. Battery won't matter. Battery's not gonna matter at -50 if you don't plug that engine in.
Well,
So we have block heaters. There's 2 typical styles of block heater. One is there's like a tap out in the engine where you knock a knockout. There's like somebody who knows what they're doing does it. They knock a knockout out and it's got threads and shit in it, and you can thread it in and stuff like that. And it's got like basically it's an element that's with a sensor on it likely, so it doesn't like scorch the stuff and everything. It's an element that just 120 volt element that basically is sitting in your coolant jacket and to warm the coolant. And so what happens is you plug your car in. Now some people try to save energy because they do use a lot of power. And they'll do things like they'll put it on a timer, let's say, and say, "Oh, come on at 3 in the morning because I got to get up for work at 5," kind of thing. So then or give it a few hours, kind of thing. That way the engine's nice and cozy, but they're not wasting too much energy. I just plug the fucker in. So you plug it in.
What's a couple extra hours, honestly?
I mean, really, some areas, I guess it. I mean, let's face it, all winter long though. Every night.
Well, for people that are on call like us, then that makes sense.
And that's the thing. But if you weren't on call and you had to get up at the same time as like a static up every morning kind of thing, you could get away with that. But the thing is, you can save a lot of energy because you think about it. I mean, fuck, you plug the car in. I mean, you're not going to go back out at 11 o'clock at night if you don't have to, because you're going to forget about it. So most people are going to go out there and plug it in at like 6 or 7 o'clock. Well, shit, by the time you get up for work, your car's been plugged in for half the goddamn day in the cold with an element running in it. I mean, think about that. That's and then you get 2 or 3 cars in the driveway. All of a sudden, you got a fucking teenager that's got a car. Your wife's got to get up for work in the morning. You got to get up for work in the morning. You got 3 vehicles all sitting in the driveway in the fucking freezing cold with heaters in them, essentially running. So, so what people do is they'll put them on timers, and then they come on for 3 or 4 hours before, and then they save half the damn time of the day. And the ones at apartment buildings, they alternate. They do a thing where they go back and forth, where the power fluctuates. So you can't run like a fucking vacuum on it, which is bullshit.
Dude, like I haven't picked up a snow plow, like a snow shovel. I mean, yet, and it's almost February. I can't believe this. Like this has literally been the longest.
I got snowed on pretty good the other day. I had to pick up one finally. But anyways,
you had problems with the snow and element shit early as fuck.
It happens, and it'll happen late too. But just to finish, so the people that are interested, so it heats the jacket, and of course with convection, the warm starts moving up and the cold starts moving down, and eventually the engine is nice and cozy warm. Remember, Frank, when you go cross-eyed, now it'll be live for everybody to see.
Like this.
So it warms the engine by convection, and what happens is like how convection works. Like the warm will start moving through all the pipes of the engine and start moving through the coolant jacket. It'll start moving, and it starts warming up the whole engine, and then what happens is your oil ends up nice and cozy warm. So you end up with nice, not viscous oil. You end up with nice liquidy oil. So when you go to start the engine, it doesn't have to crank through that oil, and it cranks really easy.
It's funny. The problem you have, or like the ritual that you guys have, is we sort of have a ritual here, but our ritual is you go outside and you start the car 20 minutes before you're going to leave. So the inside's nice and cozy.
Yeah, but we still have to start at 20 minutes or 30 minutes before we're going to leave, so the inside's cozy, because that doesn't warm up warms the engine.
But I'm not plugging in no car that has...
No, I know, but I'm telling you right now, Frank, you won't be leaving for work here if you don't. So that's the thing. It's just a completely different world.
I'm just saying, like, that's like
the extra struggle.
It's a weird difference from what you deal with than from we deal with here in South Jersey. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the differences in our lives, like what you've had to deal with, what I've had to deal with, is 2 different things. I've never had to deal with that.
I think you could get away in Toronto. You could get away with not having a block heater, probably. They don't get quite as cold as.
Toronto is almost the same longitude as me, for crying out loud.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember, I'm not much of a difference of longitude from you. You know that fucking Minneapolis, St. Paul's only fucking a 4 or 5 hour drive from me, right?
No.
That's what I'm saying though, is that I'm not very far from America. Like Fargo, North Dakota, which a lot of people for some reason in America know where that is.
Bet you, yeah.
You bet you, eh? Well, fuck, it's like 3 hours from me. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I'm above North Dakota by like 2 hours. So, like,
but you don't
it's
talk
right
like
there.
them. Like, I would think the accent is even worse.
Oh fuck, they're
or is that just
terrible.
North Dakota?
Man, it's crazy. I tell people, Americans don't even believe the people in Minneapolis, St. Paul sound like that. Fuck.
Oh no.
I have had conversations with actual Americans who have been like, they don't sound like that there. I'm like, oh my god, you have no idea. You get off a plane, it's like you're in a different fucking world all of a sudden. Oh boy, hey, you just take all that down there, right? I can't even do it. I start sounding newfie. Because I start becoming super Canadian when I try to do it.
Oh no.
When I try to do hardcore Fargo American. Because like Minneapolis, St. Paul, like don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people. Well, because it depends on where you are from in Minnesota, I guess. But Minneapolis, St. Paul, there's like a split. You're in the airport. It's like half the people talk like the rest of us, and half the people are, oh yeah, eh? You're like, holy shit.
It must be those St. Paul fuckers coming over the bridge to work here.
Well, and here's the thing. Okay, so America is one of the biggest like land masses in the world. It's all so is Canada.
Fuck yeah.
But it's also one of the most populated countries in the world. Well, I gotta tell you what. You truck across America, like my parents RV'd across America, and he's like, I've never seen so many fucking different accents under one hood. And like he told me that when they went through, which I don't know which state it was, but he said when they went through one of the states there, down in the south a bit more, he said they all sounded like Boomhauer. All the truckers sounded like Boomhauer on fucking King of the Hill. He said it was just like listening to Boomhauer, like
yeah.
Like he said he couldn't even make out words.
Like real South Alabama, real South Georgia.
Like he said there was so much twang in it that he literally, like, they were looking at each other like it's not even English to us.
Missy, like when I first met Missy, I couldn't understand half of what she was saying because she was from South Carolina.
To fucking beat that out of her, eh?
No, I did. Well, in a way, I did.
In a loving sense, that's right. In a nagging, loving
sense.
He just loved her with all the not southern accents around her for a while.
Fuck the twang right out of her.
Fuck the twang. Shh. We want to be monetized one day with our 2 subscribers, or 12. We had 12
Wait,
subscribers.
You can't curse and be monetized, I thought?
You can curse. Well, but the more you curse, the less likely you are to be wonderfully monetized.
Oh, fuck. I want some fucking money.
You gotta keep that down.
I'm kidding.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Even when we're not monetized, the less cussing we do, the more YouTube will love us. They'll spread that love and they'll just give it to us. They'll hug us and hold us and give us all that AI analytical love. They will.
So how's Bernie Beaver doing?
It's kicking ass right now. It's having a good month.
You're doing good videos.
Apparently, I don't know what is so special about the last few videos, but apparently people are enjoying themselves. So
the fight the flat Earth. The fight the flat Earth.
The fight the flat Earth spot that you did, I think, was big. He's fucking beating you up. I can see Frank roll his fucking eyes. Oh my god, he's so upset. No, but like in a loving way. Like I mean it. He's like, let me finish, you son of a bitch.
I gotta teach you how to podcast.
Teach me how to podcast.
Somebody talk, shut the fuck up.
All right, fair enough.
And then, so if you're
you can't let me get super high because of how late you were, and then expect me to be legit. He was late, everybody.
No, I'm always late.
I know, but I love you, Frank. I still love you.
But when I die, I'll still be alive.
He's gonna be late for his own funeral. They're gonna be like, "Hold on, the body hasn't shown up yet." We're all gonna be standing around. Wait, is it gonna take about an hour and a half for him? Fuck.
Listen, the viewing is pushed back a half hour. Why is that? He won't shut the fuck up.
We keep closing the casket. It pops open.
It's dark in here. Shut up. You're dead. Oh yeah.
Man, I played that. Probably didn't finish a single sentence here that we started, but either way, I played that. The one of the games I bought was an escape room game. It's I Expect You to Die. So yeah, so it's essentially like an escape room. Like so you show up in like in the first one I'm in a car. Like I'm like it's like you have to like take this car, and you're like okay. So you show up and you're like in a car and you're like oh okay, well you just like pull the visor down, like there's a key and you're like okay key, and you're like oh there's a gun over here, okay gun, and You know, start playing with the window buttons and seeing what's working, pressing things and opening the glove box, and it's a escape room. The car is an escape room. You had to drive it out of the back of the plane. It's got a parachute. It tells you in one of the pamphlets. You look at it, you hold it in your hand. It's like automatic parachute. You're like, okay, throw that in the back. It was pretty badass.
It's all Oculus, so all of a sudden you feel like a free falling out of a plane.
Oh, you could do that, but no. This once you drive out of the back of the plane, that's winning the you're a secret agent. Like the idea is that you're stuck. You know, like you show up in the plane, or like you show up. Okay, so when you appear, like everything appears around you, and you finally like you're in like an old fashioned car that you're trying to steal. Like so, the idea is at that point that I guess the idea because you watch like a projector, it gives you your mission. The idea would be that you've gotten to the car at this point, and you're about to do the final escape. But the thing is like. The master, you know, like villain has like, you know, has captured you essentially. Like you're stuck in the car now, and so you're like, oh shit! Like how do I get out of this? What it was, you could see outside the car there was poison gas coming out of emitters all around the car. So like at one point I had to find the key, and finally I started the vehicle and I pushed the pedal and drove the car forward enough that there wasn't a gas thing spraying right at my window. And it allowed me to roll the window down with the car running enough that I could grab a screwdriver, grab a screwdriver and close the window. And then I used that to like open one of the panels that I needed to like launch a bomb kind of thing. Cause at one point when I started the car, a bomb had come out and I'd already found instructions for arming a bomb, and it had 1, 2, 3 and this is the way to build the wires. So I just did the reverse. I'm like, well, if I cut it in reverse maybe, so 3, 2, 1. And I did them in reverse, and it disarmed the bomb. So it's like it's all little puzzles. Like if you fail that, you die. In the next one, you're like on a window thing, trying to break into a laboratory, like, and you're on like a window washer thing. At some point, it's like, oh, quick! There's like,
and you're hanging off a building.
Yeah, it's pretty wicked. You look back, and you're like, woo! There's a street back there and everything. And so, at one point, they got quippy voice. I don't think it actually mattered because I don't think the game was actually waiting for you to do this or anything. But it was like. It's like they've got a really quippy voice in there, and it's like, oh, quick! People have noticed you from the street. Act normal. And it's like I like grab the squirt bottle and grab the window thing, and I'm like, squirting and pretending I was washing the window, and it's like, good. I don't think they noticed us.
so this game, you're Oculus, and you're literally imitating the fact that you're squeegeeing. Ability.
Well, you got to remember, you got hand controls. Like these are where are they? Right here.
Oh, no, yeah, you got.
So like, you've got these.
It's like 2 Wii controllers, right? Or.
Well, they're like this. So they're,
okay.
but like so if you look at them though, if I can get the right freaking camera here, if you look at them, they're okay. So let me get the right spot here. They've got a thumbstick on each of them. Like they both got their own thumbstick. They're identical basically, but just right and left-handed. So you can see there's a palm button. See, there's a trigger, and there's a palm button. So like the thing is, when you're using it, and you want to grab something, it becomes pretty natural. When you want to grab something, you just reach out and squeeze, and the action of squeezing, your fist in the game will actually squeeze. And the other thing is, it has sensing of your buttons just being on the things. So if you want to like point your finger in the game, like to push a button, you literally just go like this. You don't actually push the buttons. You just touch the buttons. You put your fingers on these buttons and not this one. And all your other fingers will close in the game just like this. And you'll have a finger out just like the hand, just like this. And you can reach out and touch a button. So at first it's trippy. But after a while it becomes... So like I've been playing Robo Recall where you're like, you know, like basically I've got the wire set up so it comes down from above me. So you're 360 degrees. And so, like, there's robots coming from all directions, and the idea is that you, like, your shotguns are on your back, so you literally go like this, and you squeeze like this and go and pull out your shotguns, and same with the guns on your holster. You reach down, and some of the games that are coming out, you actually have to cock your own pistol and stuff, so you end up having to, like, you pull the gun out in front of you, and you have to grab the mechanism, and then you have to actually, like, and some of them you're having to pull, like, you know, they're making it now, so you have to pull clips up off and, like, actually, like, cock it into your gun and like you know, load the bullet and stuff. So it's getting pretty wicked. Now the only thing is when you play anything where you gotta move, where you can actually like free move, because one of the games, Boneworks, is pretty badass looking, but I couldn't do it without getting fucking sick as a dog, and that's a problem a lot of people have with games where you got free motion, where you can actually like move, like walk. So all you do is push the thumbstick and your character just but it's fucked up because your brain's like, something's wrong because I'm not doing this. So it becomes this huge detachment. What works better is the games where you're teleporting. So, you come along and you basically just like
portal game on there.
Well, no. What I mean by teleporting is like for movement. So let's say you're right here and you're going like this, and you're going bang, 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 and you're shooting. You're pulling the shotguns out and you're shooting. You're ducking. You're putting bullets out of the way, whatever. And then to move though, you just like with your thumbstick, you point. You just look around you and you look where you want to go, and you point with your thumbstick, and like a little toss, like almost like a golf shot, comes out, and you aim farther by lifting it, doing more of an arc, right? Because it's like an arc shot. And you send out an arc. Time slows down in most of the games. You're going cross-eyed, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
You send out an arc, and you basically wherever the arc goes, basically that's where you're going to teleport to. And then so you just teleport there. You appear there, and you start shooting from there. And the nice thing about that is your brain can deal with that because you just teleport from location to location, and then you're 360 degrees again. Like if I step to the right, my character steps to the right in the game, and your brain's fine with that. If I step to the left, my character steps to the left. If I duck, if I twist, if I move my head around, all of those motions are simulated now. So your brain is fine with that. But as soon as you start doing something that your brain isn't cool with, it becomes fucked up. Like flying an airplane is really messed up in the game, because you're not feeling any G-forces at all, and you're like, okay, this isn't normal. So once you have, and what it is I actually learned what it is. It's your connection between, your brain thinks it's poisoned. It's because when you get sick, if you get poisoned,
right,
then what happens is you can, all of a sudden you get dizzy and you fucking can't, bumping into walls, and you're like, you start losing your ability to like cohere properly. So what your brain starts thinking is it starts going, well, hold on a minute, I'm moving forward, but I'm not fucking moving forward. Like I can see that I'm moving forward, but I can't feel that I'm moving forward. So what happens is your brain starts going, there's a disconnect here, and it very quickly makes you feel sick because your brain, the action of throwing up, Frank, is not because you're sick. That's your body's reaction. Your body is initiating protocol, get this the fuck out of me. So when you get dizzy and you get sick, like even if you get off a ride, so let's say you go on the Hurricane and you get fucking spun until you're just sick as a dog, and you get off, you're vomiting.
What's a hurricane?
Insert fair ride here that spins you.
Like Gravitron?
Anything, sure. You get off the Gravitron, you haven't been on it in 20 years, you're like, oh, that's fun, it'll be a nice classic ride. You get off it, you're like, motherfucker, when you step off, which we've all done. That's why I know that experience, because we got old one day, my wife and I. You had the same experience, right? One day you were like, I'm going to do that. And you fucking got off the ride. You looked at your fucking significant other and went, never again.
I remember when we took a vacation to Busch Gardens, her and I.
Oh, I love Busch Gardens. See, I can still do roller coasters fine. Roller coasters, they're a long enough sweep. I'm fine with roller coasters. It's if you take me and spin me in a fucking circle now, I'm done. I am fucking ruined. It's out.
Yeah, vacation to Busch Gardens is like a one-day thing, like not a week thing, unless you want to do like each country like real slowly, like my.
Fuck that. That's bullshit. There's only so much. Pavilion, I'm gonna go eat sausages every other day. Different kind of sausage. This one did Polish style sausages.
The German sausages.
Like, yay! These are German. Oh, look, they made pierogies too. Like it's fuck that. It's garbage.
They all have cuckoo clocks here.
That's terrible.
That's all Europe is good for, sausages and cuckoo clocks.
But that's what happens. Your brain detaches, and so you get off the ride, you step off, you go, oh my God, you look at your significant other, you feel dizzy, you go, I don't feel so good, you go over and you vomit. That vomiting isn't because you were swirled. It's not because your stomach's spinning. It's not because of anything other than, that's why when you're a kid, you're able to do it fine. Because as a kid, what are you doing typically? You're bouncing and you're ricocheting off things. You're spinning upside down. My little girl, I go in the fucking other room and she's upside down, like watching her cartoons with her fucking feet in the air and her head in the couch, like looking upside down. And I go, how you doing? She goes, I'm okay, daddy. And like, I'm like, you watching your cartoons? Yep. And it's like, she's fucking gripping her fucking snuggle in her toes. upside, like her snuggles in the air, up in her fucking toes, gripped in her toes.
It's a snuggle.
Like a fucking little like blankie with a head on it, basically, like a little like lammy lamb kind of thing, like a snuggie. Like anyways, so she's got her little snuggie in her toes, way up in the air, and her fucking head out. Like
the snuggie, dude. The snuggie where
I didn't have snuggie
sleeves.
No, I didn't have snuggie or
Dude,
nothing.
I had a Notre Dame snuggie, an Eagle snuggie. It was awesome.
that whole thing of vomiting afterwards, where you get all sick and you throw up and you're sick. That is your body thinking you are poisoned. Like, because it's very primitive, your body. It doesn't know shit about roller coasters. I mean, let's face it, roller coasters didn't exist. It was like, fuck, that was a hell of a mastodon ride. Which obviously is bad science.
That was one hell of a tumble down that hill.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, fuck, I'm not getting in tires anymore. like that's the kind of shit that was. So don't get me wrong, we've had our experiences, but we didn't evolve for that, right? So, yeah.
Never
so they
tire and went down the hill before.
So the whole detachment is where your body thinks it's poisoned, and so how did you get poisoned? Well, chances are you ate something. So it just initiates protocol eject, and it starts trying to put everything out of your stomach. That's why you always feel better after you throw up too. That's why you throw up a whole bunch, and you're sitting by the toilet like, oh, I feel so good. Why? Because it felt good, because your body actually gets like a satisfaction out of the ejection because it thinks it's helping. It may not be.
It thinks it's
well, because you spun what it is. You spun your fucking inner ear, and your brain, because you're old and shitty, can't compensate.
Oh, hi, Wilson. Hi. This cat, man. This cat loves, like, this cat wants attention constantly.
Look, I told you about that cat. Look, and I said, once my wife went to sleep, I bet you.
I bet you likes to sleep, yeah.
No, yeah. That cat's gonna be there. That cat. We took in a cat.
Oh yeah, that's right. You rescued a little kitty cat.
We rescued a little kitty, tiny little kitty cat. A little tiny kitty.
Oh, the little twitty twat.
But Frank, tell me something interesting. What's going on in the world of Frank? I talk too much as it is. So this isn't the Brainy Beaver podcast. This isn't the Scott podcast. I spent the last. Well, not the last, but I spent a good portion of my day with my best friend he's 4 months sober, came home for the weekend from rehab, and is going back tomorrow night. I got to see him for the first time in 4 months, so it was cool. He looked great. Proud of him. Good.
Yep. So Dean, kudos, buddy. Keep it up. And this time, and but no, I mean, yeah. What you
Frank, play with your lights. Put some blue in there. Make yourself sexy.
Dude, next week I will have like different color hue lights, but right now I just have your standard starter kit, they call it.
Oh, so I see. So you don't have any. That's what I said to you, shitty. Wait, don't you? Or do you just have blue ones? Wait, I saw the color blue when you were shifting, or was that just your camera adapting to the color change?
No. Blue, like, okay, so regular lighting goes from like 2700 to like 6500. 6500.
Yeah, that's fine. But what you're saying is that was just your lights dimming and your camera went blue for a second. So I thought it was.
It wasn't. No, it's not dimming. They literally look blue because light goes from blue to.
Well, I get that. I understand the light spectrum.
Stars kind of.
But that's not the same as being blue. Okay.
No, well. I'm blue, double D, double do.
but so that's what I was trying to say to you at one point when I said, well, they don't change color, and you're like, well, they're blue, and I was like, well, you got blue and yellow, and that's all you were doing is you were turning up and down.
Yellow, white to blue.
I know, but the problem is as you change the color, if you're doing it that way, then you're just doing 6500 Kelvin. Well, that's office light color, so that's why I said you go white, and then the only other color.
Like that's like 27 and. That's 65. See the difference?
Well, yeah, 65 is like white.
Even
that yellow, even that hard yellow is better. Put that orange on it.
Yeah, that's 27.
Fucking do it right there. I love it. It's way better. Take the one on the fucking ceiling and do something different with that.
All right. Let's see here.
We're fixing this live, people.
That's 27 right there. That matches.
You don't have to
But
have
it's
a
dim.
match.
See now, that's bright. That's brighter.
You need some colors in your life, bro. Oh,
And
there you go. Now he just disappears like a ghost. Now he can
Yeah.
just pretend that the law's after him. Frank, what are you doing? Where are you hiding these days, buddy? Yeah. I don't know what else I was gonna do. There's a big old
Really
maze
like the hue.
here.
But no, next week I'm gonna have the different colors.
Here's this
the
guy's out
ones that-
doing service calls at 11 o'clock at night, and he buys the cheap ass starter kit.
I didn't, dude. It was bespoke.com. I didn't even know it was coming till I opened the damn package because every month is different. You know.
So you got a little starter pack. I gave you the hub, I guess. Then.
Yeah, I got the hub, and
I am legitimately jealous that you got the hub because the thing that is stopping me from buying the Philip Hughes is that they need me to buy the fucking hub. They can suck a dick.
Dude, it's literally like $135, and I got it for like.
That's what I mean, though. That's what I mean. In Canadian, it's like $160.
$55 because of you pay $45 a month.
Get it.
This bespoke.com.
I get it, but it's still bullshit for me because like that's what stops me from getting Hughes.
Like, but it's so much worth it after you get the hub. Because the bulbs.
Well, if you get the hubs, then the bulbs become okay. But the hub is so expensive; it's garbage.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like $100.
Yeah, but these lights I have here, they can change. Like I get this remote, and I have a program on my phone that I can do.
Like $20.
I can change. Fucking rights! It was like 19 or 20 something dollars for 5 meters of sticky multi-changing freaking change color fucking like a million color light bullshit, and it can rotate and dance to music and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the difference is your shit came from China. See, Philips tries to hide the fact they got their shit from China.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt these are all Chinese made, 100%.
Yeah, they are.
But I'll buy way more because you can take them and you can even cut. Okay, so get this, you can take the sections of it. They're like the LED strips where it's like they're sticky, they like roll out like tape. But you can literally cut them. They've got spots on them every like freaking 4 inches where it shows a pair of scissors, and you can just be like, nope, it's too long. You can just come along and slice it, cut a chunk of it off. And I even saw people online were like taking soldering kits and like, they would actually cut them and like put them around things and properly solder them together and actually make them. I'm not going that far because that's gonna just be a lot of work and not work properly for me, but.
Dude, I'm getting so much better at soldering lately since I'm building guitars now and all. Like this new guitar I'm building, like I'm going all nuts with it, but I'm getting a lot better at soldering. It's hard to do, dude. It's not easy. Like everybody thinks soldering is easy. Like it's easy.
It's easy to glob it on, but it's not easy to do precision soldering.
I'm talking about precision soldering, yeah. Because my push-pull pots, there's like a block this big, and it's got 6 little points on it with the 3 points above it, and if you fuck it up, it won't work. Right?
Did you end up fixing? In a side note, did you end up fixing the radio shit for Podbean? Like, why is that not updating?
Because I haven't had a chance to get to it yet.
Okay.
Because like today, I spent all day. Well, first the Kia broke down this morning on our way to get the $3,000 shot that I had to give Missy in the ass.
Yeah, I don't need a bunch of excuses. I was just curious. I mean, it's whatever. But
no, we're trying to have a kid, so
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, no, it's all good.
Anyway,
I'm not.
So then on the way back, the Kia broke down. So then we had to get towed to the Kia dealership, then come home. Then we had to go get grandparents' car because they were going to give us a car, but they couldn't do it till Monday, and the parts coming in, to fix the car on Monday. So what's the point? So we're just going to use our grandparents' car, and that took till my friend came over. Then me and him took a drive up North Jersey so I could drop off paperwork I forgot to bring with me last night because I'm a fucking forgetful piece of shit, and I'm always late. So
It doesn't matter, honestly. None of that matters. But if you're unless you want to tell everybody the diatribe. I mean, I love it.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean in the sense of like it doesn't. You don't need to make excuses. Whatever. Just just
No, I'm saying
whenever you
the
can get to
reason.
it.
No, I'm saying the reason why I went up to North Jersey today again for the second time in 24 hours is because my dumbass grabbed the wrong pack of papers off the kitchen table because I was in such a hurry. You know, like I would have been more thorough if I wasn't in, like trying to run out the house. You know, because
Do you just sign into to Podbean to do that? To like fix that or figure out why that's doing that? Or is it Podbean you had to go to? Where do you go to do that?
Podbean, Podbean.com.
If
Yeah, no, I know, I know what I gotta
but
fix.
I'm
I
not.
just need to do it and fix it. I plan on doing it tomorrow because
Okay, no, I was
tomorrow
gonna
is
say
like
because if you want, you could always toss me the because I mean,
no,
I won't lock you out. I promise.
I know what I no I know where I got to go to change it, and I know that I have to change a few
You
different
can call
settings.
me. You can start calling me Kyle. Don't worry. I need to get the password, Frank, for SEO reasons.
Right. What?
Come on, I forgot how much of the flat, like the whole non-sec thing. I mean, you're so busy. I don't know how much you follow ever.
For what?
The YouTube drama. You obviously don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I mean I
Kyle
do know.
of non sequitur.
Oh fuck yeah!
Well,
Fuck yeah.
the way he took over the fucking channel was that he told
yeah.
Steve he needed this password to change some things for SEO reasons or something like that, and so he fucking took the password and locked him out.
He doesn't have.
Well, anyway, he's a lying piece of shit. But
Yes, he is.
I watched the whole Unirock stream. Kyle was lying about a lot of things.
Well, okay, so there's a stream that Kyle was on where he was saying a bunch of shit and he was lying his ass off the whole time. Like
Unirock, just go watch
was he
it.
making claims on YouTube?
Just go watch Unirock's channel. Happened on Wednesday.
Who Unirock is?
Unirock 2. Just go search Unirock 2.
Okay.
Because
I'll watch Steve's channel and him talk about it, but I haven't watched a single thing Kyle's done, so I don't know if there was anybody.
Kyle. This is Unirock. This isn't Kyle. This is Unirock. Unirock interviewed Kyle.
Oh, okay. I got you. Was Unirock on Kyle's side, or was there a side Unirock took? Or?
You could probably watch it and interpret it however you want to interpret it. I don't really want to dive into that, to be honest with you. It's kind of a fucking cesspool right now.
Well, I mean, obviously you're Team Steve, I would assume.
You might assume that, but you could be wrong or right. I'm not sure. So I don't think I'm anybody's team when it comes to all this bullshit. I think that I want this to.
All I know is, like, from what I'm seeing, it looks like Kyle's in the 100%.
Well, hold on, but you're okay. You're conflating different things here. See, yeah, I'm talking about there's so much shit that has occurred in this fucking thing at this point that you're just so not aware of everything that this is why this conversation, honestly, it was going to be a fucking moving on thing. I don't even want to talk about it. You have no idea how much fucking shitstorm is around this right now. Like to the point of like I'm allergic to this conversation.
So can we have this conversation off air?
Possibly, but you're way too far behind. I can give you the Coles notes, but you got a lot of shit to watch because there's just been so much stuff that's happened.
That's fine. I want to watch. I just don't know where to go to watch it. That's all.
Well, I mean, a lot of it you can watch on Unirocks, and if you've been watching Steve, then you got Steve's end of it already. So I just don't know how much you've been watching. I mean, there's a lot of streams that have happened, right?
It's like I heard about it, and then like a month later, I watched the Steve stream where he went over the emails.
Yeah, but you're still talking about Steve and Kyle. You've missed out on all kinds of shit. See, this is what I mean. Like I'm talking about
another guy.
I'm talking about
another guy in there. Yeah, okay,
I'm talking about you're not even in the fucking vector because of how much stuff you've missed. Like this is the thing. This has been a rapidly moving fucking river. And if you haven't been staying on top of some of these issues, like by watching the different channels, you're so far behind. We're in another state while you're just putting the raft in the water. Like, because there's so much shit has happened.
But yeah, I mean, I can always sail and get to the state though.
You can, but I'm not even going to touch it because the water's full of rattlesnakes and I'm not even going near it. So,
fair enough.
So that's the thing. It's gotten to a point of like I don't even want to talk about it because it's such a vitriolic thing in our community at this point that it's not something we want to deal with.
Okay, so your community, right? So let's talk about the flat Earth debunking community, right?
Okay.
So you got your scientific debunkers, right?
Yeah.
You got your comedic debunkers. I would put you in that category. You got your basically just Sir Sick is his own category.
I'm trying to get him on for a fucking interview. He says he just I just talked to him again on Twitter just the other day, and he said
What's he doing?
my wife texted me. She said I had to put the cat away. She wouldn't stop staring at the hamster. She's been standing at the bottom of the hamster cage, just sitting there with her tail wagging, staring up the hamster cage, like I'm gonna fucking get in that thing. I already told my wife. I said, okay, I'm gonna wire the doors shut on it so she can't get crafty, because then the hamster at least can feel safe and secure in the fact that the fucking cat can't knock the lid off.
Yeah, dude. Like I had geckos, and my cat wanted nothing more than to kill those fuckers.
Oh, she's just sitting at the bottom, looking up at it, and looking at us like, there's a fucking rodent in there, right?
Oh, dude, I got a picture of my one cat Rowan and my cockatiel BJ. Now my cockatiel, his name's BJ, is because it was my father's cockatiel, right? Now your dad and your 5 and 4 year old son and daughter give you a cockatiel for Father's Day. What would you call it? Not blowjob, I bet.
I probably wouldn't have been allowed to.
Well, my dad did.
That's pretty impressive.
He's an asshole. So when I was, and then I'm 28 years old, and I inherited the fucker.
I still answers to BJ, I bet.
Dude, he's still alive from the last time I heard. Because when we moved into here a year ago, we gave him away because we weren't bringing him here. So we surrendered him to like a bird rescue sanctuary, or whatever. So he can have a bunch of open like room, and I don't know what they do with the. But anyway, yeah, we didn't just like set him free or anything, you know. But I hated that fucking bird. He was mean. He would try to bite you. He would scream every morning. Fucking ugh. Plus, he reminded me of my dad, which I didn't. You know, I got rid of everything that reminded me of him. But there's blowjob. You know, yelling and chirping, and he would whistle like that, and he would say BJ because my dad not only named him blowjob, but taught him how to say it. he's that big of an asshole. Father's Day gift.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would be not great. Those birds live forever.
Yeah, dude. They don't. Yeah. Well, yeah. I wonder what dinosaur cockatiels used to be.
Huh. Well, they didn't all exist necessarily.
Well, they all came from somewhere.
Well, but cockatiels, birds were. Oh, I see what you mean. I mean, it was probably like. I mean, it's from a whole range of animals.
I would,
it's gonna be like one of those fucking velociraptors or some bullshit.
I was gonna say velociraptor. Yeah, like definitely velociraptor.
One of those
same feet,
bitches.
Yeah, same feet and always trying to bite me. Little fucking asshole.
Yeah, but they're dicks. Who wants a bird?
I don't. I hate them. I mean, I don't hate them, but I'd rather. They're. I say better outside than inside the house. I say. Yeah, birds are definitely an outside pet. I have plenty of birds now, but I don't have to feed them or anything because they're outside. I have squirrels too. I have pet squirrels. I even have pet chipmunks.
I've had chipmunks. Chipmunks are awesome. They're way better than squirrels. They climb right in your fucking pocket, come out, eat the peanut, sit there on the edge of your freaking pocket. No, they're awesome. I even had one. We had multiple would come up because they raise kids around us, and then they'd fuck them off into the woods. So then, of course, they don't get along once they're older, right? But then next thing you know, you'd be like feeding one, another one would come up, and they'd see each other. It'd be like a stare down for 2 seconds, and then one of them would be like, "Bolt, motherfucker!" Whichever one was the less dominant, right? He'd be just like holding the nut, and he'd be like, they would just freeze and look at each other for a second. Then he'd like throw the nut and fucking run. What are you seeing,
dude,
ghosts?
My dog is going batshit. I don't know. You probably can't hear that. My dog is going batshit. Hold on.
All of a sudden, it was like you saw a predator or something.
No, my dog is freaking out, dude. I go shut him up or figure out what the hell he's barking at.
Yeah,
Hold on.
go figure it out. You got an intruder in your house. Bring a bat. Well, to the couple people watching, how y'all doing out there? It's like me and me, I think, watching. Maybe it's me and somebody else. Lone Wolf Agam, you still out there? Frank is going to chase a attacker through his house. So if we hear loud bangs or like screams and wrestling sounds, then we'll know. Just listen quietly. Nope. So far, nobody's been murdered that I can tell. Man, this would be an awfully boring podcast with just me here, wouldn't it? Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Demonetized. Claimed. That's how quick that thing is. I think I can hear his... I can hear electrical sounds. That's fun. Those old internet sounds. Remember those days? It's like, hold on, I gotta dial the internet. I'm gonna connect, and in like 30 or 40 seconds, I might be able to download a song in 3 hours. That'll be fun. I remember those days. Those were good days. Those were the days. Come on, Frankie. Frankie, I'm holding down the fort alone here, bro. Well, we are going to take a quick little break. Well, that didn't work at all. I don't know why that's not working. Hold on. And Frank is back, everybody. How's it going? We were taking a quick break there, Frank. Probably should have took the opportunity to piss, but here we are. Now I can leave you in a minute. That's fine. We're like at an hour and 7 minutes anyways. Probably only got another 15, 20 minutes left in us.
Dude, fucking, there was two drunk bitches fighting out back of my house.
That's awesome. You should have recorded that. Why the fuck didn't you record that? We could have been playing this shit now. Did you?
My phone was sitting right here.
You ever see what the phones do when you look at them? They flash like that, eh? Have you ever noticed that?
What do you mean?
Mine's not flashing. Here, show your phone, then look at it in my shot.
Well, no, it turns on whenever I pick it up.
Well, that's fine, but what I'm saying is show your fucking phone. Look at the screen. Look at the flash. Look at the flash. Infrared. Well, it's still there. It's just not shining at the right angle now. You can see it's flashing there. Mine does it too at times. But I can see it through the Oculus. I can see that.
I saw it. No, I saw it. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Yeah, your phone's. It's looking for your face and stuff like that, probably. How do you think it sees you?
That's so eerie.
Yeah, and they're always outputting. Like I can't see it. Your camera, it must be the camera type, because like the Oculus, when I go to see-through mode, where you hit the button and you can like see the world around you for a second, I can see my phone flashing just constantly like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
trying to find my face. Like it.
it's probably
When
looking for your face or something. Probably it's probably facial recognition. But
yeah,
either way,
it's just
anyways, so yeah, but
so fucking cool.
but that's too bad. We could have had recording of
No, well, see,
drunk
my
bitches
my
doing their
well,
thing.
my upstairs neighbors are, um, dude,
Hey,
when you
Foxy
have,
Bandito, thanks for coming.
oh yeah,
Keep
rock on.
going there, Frank. Sorry, bud.
I don't have the stream up on any of my
No,
computers.
it's all good. Didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going, bud.
No, my upstairs neighbors, when you have a liquor store deliver to you in a van, and it's just crate after crate after crate of, I don't even know what kind of liquor it is. It looks like somebody robbed my grandparents' liquor cabinet because you remember the grandparents' liquor cabinet for the pinochle
My
games?
my parents had a big liquor cabinet. I don't think my grandparents were very old. I wasn't rating shit for my grandparents.
It was all disgusting. Oh God, it was all like peach brandy, fucking ugh. And they would have pinochle games. I still don't know what that
It's
is.
funny how old school people are though. Like my dad, he was a police officer, but he also wasn't. He's okay now with it, but he wasn't a big fan of cannabis. But meanwhile, he had a fucking huge liquor cabinet full of every kind of booze. Parties, they'd have not that they were like drunks or anything, but they had guests over. They weren't afraid of tying a few fucking rum and cokes on, and stuff like that. And so it's just so hypocritical, it's like, I don't know. Meanwhile, like, it's like, this guy's got a pantry full of dope. It's like you got a pantry full of poison over there.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, alcohol is so much worse. Holy
My
shit.
doctor even was like, fucking, I'd prefer you smoke weed. He said, am I telling you that I'd prefer you combust plant matter into your lungs? He said, I'd prefer not. He said, if you vaporized it, though, I don't care at all. Don't even want to hear about it, he said. I'm like, really? He's like, yep. So,
yeah, I mean, like, I've never heard a story of, dad smoked a blunt and he would smoke a blunt and then he'd come and beat mom.
Oh, Foxy Bandito, that's Lone Wolf. He's just using an alt account. I see. Yeah, no, I had a cop tell me the same thing. He said I've never arrested somebody for a violent crime. It was high on marijuana. He said never in my whole life. He said 40 years on the force and never happened. He said, but alcohol. He said alcohol every night, every freaking night.
They literally called it the drunk tank.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of people being herded into the high tank?
Well, they put him in the drunk tank because it's basically like a tank. They're making tank of liquid joke, like they're all sauced up, like they're all fueled up and full of liquid, right?
Look at them all hide up and starving with the munchies. Let's get some cheese fries up in here or some what the fuck did you Phoenix was like, what? Poutine, there you go.
You don't know what poutine is? That hurts me. You're very close to Quebec compared to me, frankly.
Who, me?
Yeah, you're closer to Quebec than I am.
Quebec.
Oh, you're way fucking closer to Quebec than I am. Way closer.
It takes me 6 hours to get to the Finger Lakes in the middle of New York State, dude.
Dude. Do you know how long it would take me just to drive to Toronto from here? And that's not Quebec yet. It would take me literally like a day.
It would take me probably 9 hours to get to Toronto.
Yeah, you could get Quebec in the same time then. Just go a slightly different direction.
It seems like there's only one way for me to get into Toronto. I have to go in between those two lakes.
Yeah, but Quebec's not Toronto.
I know. I don't know where Quebec is.
It's to the right more. Just go east. It's the next province. So that's what I'm saying. It's way close to you.
Is Newfoundland its own country or a part of Canada?
Are you really asking that fucking question, Frank?
I never knew.
But why? But is there another Frank, how many countries are in North fucking America? Come on. Like the American fucking education system is really failing you guys.
No shit. We're like 40th, bro.
I guess. Because if that's the kind of questions coming out of your education system, I am blown away.
Dude, Turkey's above us.
Yeah, but apparently you think that more than just Canada's above you on the map.
Yeah, Newfoundland.
Yeah, part of Canada.
Okay, thank you for answering my question.
You mean one of the Confederate provinces of that made Canada Canada? You mean that's
don't know.
always been fucking part of Canada?
No, guys,
One of
I
the
thought
oldest fucking entrances into Canada?
I thought they were like territories, not provinces. I don't know what
We
you
have
call them.
provinces and territories.
Well, okay, yeah,
But they're all
let's just
Canada. Territory is just another word for a province. I mean, I don't even know why they
Well,
call
you
them
got to draw a line someplace.
They don't. We don't actually have territories anymore because it used to be the Yukon territories, and now it's just the Yukon. And then it used to be the Northwest territories, and now it's Nunavut, and they broke it into things. So it's
How north have you been in your own country?
almost to Russia. So like the Arctic Circle.
You been to the North Pole?
I've been to within 500 miles of the North Pole
Why did you keep going?
because it's a long fucking way through nothing.
What? There's no souvenir shops?
Dude, there isn't roads. There isn't anything up there. There isn't even a fucking, like, there's a runway. And if that fucking plane don't come, guess what? You're going to die up there. Like, that would be a terrible place to be during the apocalypse. Like, you'd probably last until the food ran out. So you might have longer than the people in the cities. Like, if there was, like, a zombie onslaught. But, like, nobody's coming. But I'm going to tell you right now, nobody's coming to help you, and you're going to die there. Because you are not, you will not.
How many people are with you and who has the will?
No, you will not be hiking back to civilization. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what right now. It's been a long time since the Native Americans up there survived without regular supply runs. So, you can follow, the old
have
elder.
Have you ever seen an igloo?
You can, they still teach their fucking kids how to build them. So when you go up there, you will.
You've seen a real live igloo with people real live living in it?
I have built my own quincees. Yes, an igloo and a quincy are very similar.
Now, I saw a movie once where an Inuit gave birth, and in the igloo was like a chute.
It's easier to build a quincy than an igloo anyways. Igloos are cut out of ice. They're very permanent.
Like she's literally straddling a chute, and the baby went, whee!
Yeah, I believe it. They also put the babies, the traditional way was they put the babies right inside this fucking backpack and the baby just shit and piss in it and they'd clean it out and stuff.
No, I mean, as it's being born and shit.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I have no idea. They do lots of shit. I mean, but you got to remember, even they weren't from up.
They're crazy sons of bitches.
Well, but you got to remember that, Frank, they weren't from up there.
Why'd they go there?
They didn't. Here's a history lesson for you, Frank.
All right.
Canada was terrible too. America and Russia said to Canada, you can't own the North if you don't have people living there. Now, Russia has people living pretty much right up into the Arctic fucking circle.
Well,
now,
living and being there in forced labor camps are two totally different things.
No, almost living. If you look at the map on how far north, Russia has entire cities with 1 million people that are farther north than any location that's populated in Canada.
This I know.
So what I'm trying to tell you, but we have people all the way up to the Arctic Circle in Canada. So like I'm telling you, they have cities that are almost in the Arctic Circle. So just to finish your lesson, though, Frank, before you sidetrack us.
Everyone's lesson.
America, a lot of people know this, a lot of people don't. It depends on which country you're from. Canadians know their history quite well.
And we know our, history that they tell us.
So America and Russia said to Canada, you can't own the North unless you have people living there. So we decided to round all the natives up and tell them that they had great opportunities up north. And we stuffed them up there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, like, any of these ideas that, like, they could live where we've put them, like where I went to Toloyawak, which is, like, within 500 miles of the Arctic Circle, where they're literally, like, okay, when I left on the fucking airplane, I was wearing shorts, not literally because I knew it was cold up there, but when I left on the airplane to go up there, I was already barbecuing in fucking shorts and flip-flops. And when I got off the plane, it was fucking winter again. Like straight up fucking winter. And the sun didn't set because it was fucking May. And the sun just basically dipped below the horizon. It would disappear for maybe 30 minutes and then come back up. And that's why when the flat earthers are like, you can't see noon and midnight at the same time. I'm like, fuck you, you can't.
You
Fuck
fucking-
you fucking can't. You can
And
see
the other 6
you
months,
can go like
and then
this.
you never see it.
You can literally go like this. I've been to a place where you can go like this and be like, that's fucking noon, that's fucking midnight.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
It
so I
doesn't
mean,
matter because they like don't people put like black sheets all over their fucking windows to emulate nights?
that's 100%. There was a workhouse, so it's because it's a hamlet basically. There's like 800 people up there or whatever. And
Hamlet. I can't believe Hamlet still exists in this world.
well, that's technically the term. I think it's a hamlet. It's like 800 people. So you know, it's a village. It's a hamlet.
Bring out
it's
your dead.
yeah, let's face it, it's not like that. But you know, buildings built on stilts because of permafrost and all that shit. But anyways, the workhouse is just a house with like a common area with a TV. They got shitty satellite reception, only a couple channels. This is why, again, the flat earthers are like, oh, maybe it's radio signals. Fuck you, radio fucking signals. That shit is pointed to the sky, motherfucker. There's nothing up there. Maybe it was just skies.
Because the cable has a fucking wire to it doesn't mean it doesn't end at a satellite somewhere.
It goes into the wall on a cable. Yeah, and it ends at the dish over there on the edge of the fucking balcony, at the edge of the fucking cheap, shitty railing there.
It's like, you ever see that 100-yard big ass satellite dish over at Comcast?
When I was a fucking kid, I had the old ones that had to aim, where you'd actually had to open the fucking TV guide, and you were like, "Oh, it's on satellite G8," and you'd go like, "G8," and the whole fucking dish outside. I remember when I was a kid, you go like G8, and you'd like run down to the fucking lake.
Stay tuned wasn't far off to what it was like.
The whole thing would start fucking moving, and it would like while it was going, the whole TV would just until it fucking and all the things started coming in. But you had to fucking program that shit. And I remember we couldn't get like MTV. My brother wanted MTV, and we couldn't get it because the satellite was behind a tree that my dad refused to cut down. And he's like, fuck it, I'm not, because remember, those were big satellites back then. It had a concrete structure and a big pillar and a big motor that turned it and shit. Like, it was quite a fucking mechanism to get a satellite signal. And it's because we lived in the fucking bushes. I grew up in a small town in Canada. There wasn't fucking cable to my house. You couldn't just call Shaw. There was no fucking Comcast to my door or something. So these people that are like, oh, maybe it was a... There was no fucking cable leading out of my house for fucking signal.
Yeah, and back in the day, I remember watching cable and watching the porn channel late at night with the squiggly lines, and every once in a while you
because you could fucking stop the dish part way or something, and you could catch a channel you weren't supposed to get.
Nice, clear as a bell, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a dick.
I saw penetration, I think.
It's like, never mind. It was just a fucking cooking show. Fucking.
Funny.
She was fucking. All she was doing is basting a bird. I thought it was fisting. She's fucking stuffing a turkey.
And on that note, we're out, folks. Thanks for coming.
Well, but to finish that off too, what the problem is now is the flat earthers, they'll be like, you know, when you're like, yeah, but when you're up in the Arctic, you don't get internet. Like, the dish is pointing up there for the fucking internet. Like, where do you? Oh, maybe it's pointing at a structure. Pointing at a structure, motherfucker. There is no 7-Elevens around here. The power's generated at a diesel station. Like, did you know that they have a fucking tanker comes in once a year in the summer and runs, they go out to it and like, they literally go out in like little boats that like, not like fucking kayaks, like they'll go out in boats, they got engines. Yeah, they'll go out in their 20 horse or whatever, and they'll grab the hoses, these big ass hoses, and they string them out from the tanker that sits in the bay. And they bring them in, and they have massive tanks, and they fill all the tanks up. And those are the tanks, they'll get filled up once in spring, and then once in fall, or right before the ice starts to freeze. And that's it. That's all the fuel for the airplanes. That's fuel for all their fucking heat. That's all of it to generate the electricity in their community. There's no wires to this place. There's nothing.
That is hard living right now. That's when you decide, I think we need to move south.
Well, and then the thing is, we put them up there, so that's where life is, right? So they kind of, I mean, I get it, they're trapped a little bit, but they have the opportunity to leave. And the thing is, they need to see a doctor. Their flights are all paid for and shit by taxes, and They get to fly down to a city where there's a doctor.
That's more than what we gave ours. If you need a doctor, I mean, you got your medicine, man. I don't know what more you need.
Well, they get access to healthcare just like we do, whether or not they pay taxes
casino,
or not.
Build your own fucking hospital.
They get to build casinos and not pay taxes and get the doctor still. But they I'm not going to get into that debate as well, because that's also a fucking cesspool of hate in my own country. But I will say one thing is that one thing I say to people that kind of get pissy about the money that's spent in the north, because there's a lot of money that's wasted up there. Like, they'll take houses because they don't own them. They'll strip the trim off the walls and start burning it in the fireplace.
Oh God, that's just terrible.
Oh yeah, they're not. No, I'm not, and I'm not saying every one of them or all of them or even most of them. I'm just saying that they I have been up there. I have seen lots of examples.
They do it in Camden too, and I'm 15 minutes away.
And that's the thing. And so it's and listen, part of that is our fault, because there was a break in tradition when we did this thing many years ago. It was before. Well, it was when my dad was younger. So it was in the middle of the century. And what it was they weren't teaching their children. Now, it wasn't that they weren't teaching their children. They just weren't teaching their children what we thought their children should be learning. So, they were trying to teach them more traditional things, and we thought they should be learning ABCs and math and stuff like that. And so we went and we removed them. It's residential schools. We removed them from their parents. America might have done something similar. I can't remember. But we removed them from their parents, and we put them in schools where they were they had foster parents and stuff like that were probably white. And they went, and these were for the ones whose parents refused to send.
Not do that.
Well, these are for the parents who refused to send them to school. They basically take their kids and we would send them to school. And the idea was that, and it was not done in malice. I mean, some of the people probably did terrible things because they were horrible people. Those people exist. You can't stop that. But the
horrible people will do horrible things.
The purpose of it was because they wanted to get them educated so that they could, integrate into society and become part of the populace and everything. But unfortunately, what we didn't realize is that a lot of their culture was very tradition based, and when it came to elders and respect for elders and all that stuff. And so when we removed them from their households and we did that, we actually broke a lot of those traditions. And so there's a whole generation out there that raised another generation that didn't have any guidance from their parents. Their true parents that loved them and cared for them and wanted the best for them. So they didn't get taught not to do certain things or not. And that's true for anybody. It doesn't matter if racially. I mean, there's Caucasian people that have the same issues. So, but that was, but I do I want to take full blame for that kind of problem. I mean, that's the problem when you get people that say things like, "Oh, there's a lot of money wasted." It's like, well, we got to take a bit of responsibility for some of the things. What I always say to them, I have a friend up the road who's bitching one time about, he says, well, $40,000 of pumps. He said, I sold them $40,000 of pumps. He said, they ruined them in 6 months. And I had to sell them $40,000 in pumps. He goes, where's that money come from? And I go, okay. I said, yeah, I see what you're saying. So yeah, they wasted, because if they took care of them, Frank, because you and me would have been fucking fired or hung by our necks if we blew those pumps up. Because there would have been protocols. They need to be purged. They need to have this done, oiled every 6 months or 3 months. And there would have been all this shit to do. Yeah, and if you and I blew that shit up because we weren't maintaining it, there would be heads rolling. But a lot of times everybody points different directions up there, and then we just pay for it. We go up, and people like me will fly up there and install new equipment, whatever. And it's all paid for, and I mean, I don't know who pays it. I get paid. That's all that mattered to me. But my
check cleared, so it was all good.
Exactly. But what I said to my friend here is, I said, here's the thing. I said, now I'm going to call him R because I don't want to give away any names, but I say, now R, I said, did you get a kickback from that? And he goes, whoa. I'm like, well, did you get a kickback from that? Did you make money from that extra sale? So you sold them pumps, they blew pumps apart, and you sold them more pumps. I said, did you get to add that $40,000 to your gross sales margin? Does that give you a bonus at the end of the year and stuff out of that? Wow. I'm like, okay, so what you're telling me is the money
that you make,
that you made there, and the bonus you're probably a couple $1,000 I bet you'll get out of that, came from them wrecking those motors. So I said, job
security.
I said, are you not getting some of your tax money back? I said, do you really think that you personally have put in 3 or 4,000
taxes though?
But that's what I was saying to him. I said, out of the 37 or 38, 40 million people almost in Canada, do you think that you are personally put in $3,000 or $4,000 into that purchase of those pumps? I fucking doubt it. Now, over a long period, over the last few years, I bet you have. But now, if he sells them those pumps, and he sells another one those pumps, and he sells another one those pumps, he's on the plus. He's making money now. And so now I said, now, Richard, now, where do you take all your money?
Richard, his name.
Whatever. Good call. But, well, people don't know necessarily who I am ultimately yet, so it doesn't matter. But, Richard, I said, where do you take your money? I said, you go buy things, you got to buy furniture, you buy shit for me, you pay me to fix things, you pay. I said, all these white people, all these Caucasians making all this money, you know, I said, and meanwhile, you're bitching about it. You know, and meanwhile, you're paying all these people are making money off of that money that just went up north. I said, so where did it go? I said, did it go up north or did it come pouring right back down here? Really, at the end of the day, you want to talk about trickle-down economics, dump it in the north and it just pours. Yeah, exactly. And then it creates a big economy that just keeps running. So even in the down times, Canada kind of keeps ticking along because we have our own internal economy. That's occurring. Exactly. And the thing is, like, the other thing I said to him was, I said, who installed those pumps, Richard? I said, do you think that they had a mechanic up there, way up in that little community in the north that was readying out all the equipment? Yeah, his little hamlet. Do you think they had a big sewage pump specialist up there that was ready to install that? I fucking doubt it. I doubt it. So that means that they had to pay for plane tickets. They had to pay for a guy to go down and you know, he got paid to like, because this is the way it was when I went up north. He got paid to like stock his fuel or his tank or his tools up the night before, clean them up, weigh them, because you only can get so much on the cargo flights. They'll start charging you more. So you got to like get multiple. You're better off having an extra bag than overweight. You get charged way more. So you know, you got like 4 or 5 toolboxes that are hard, and you're like literally like weighing them as you add items, and you're like sorting them. So you get paid 3 or 4. Usually we'd bill them like fucking 4 or 5 hours for our night before. You bill them all the way driving in the morning, all the way flying up north. Shit, you have fucking the one day going up north, we had 3 fucking days of travel by the time we waited in airports and jumped on the next flight just to get up there. And we billed. And I got paid for every fucking minute I was fucking. I didn't stop billing them until I landed and got into my room. So we were billing them for like 15-hour fucking days, overtime and everything, just to fly up there. And then when we got up there, we were kicking the shit out of it because we had only so many weeks to get it done. So we're making overtime like gravy money. I fucking banked so much overtime on one job. I took 3-day weekends for the entire fucking summer and got paid.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, all this stuff all this shit that goes up north that they wreck, they ruin, you can bitch about it all you want, but you know what? Chances are one of us flew up there to install it.
Yeah, and it just comes down to no matter what, if you have a job, you'll bitch about it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Well, the thing is, he was bitching about making money. All he had to do is sell them. I have never heard a salesman bitch about fucking selling something.
No, that's weird.
He doesn't even have to fucking ship it. Like, he doesn't do any of that. He literally fucking just makes the money from going, all right, great sale, click.
Yeah, let me get the call. Hey, Scott. All right, I'm done.
Exactly, because guess what? They probably called the same place that they just ordered the fucking pumps from and said, yeah, we wrecked the pumps. And he said, well, I can't warranty those. They're 6 months old. You didn't maintain them. There's no way I'm warranting those pumps.
Yep. There it is. And he knows he can do it because he knows where it's coming from.
And he knows they'll pay because they got the government money feeding them, and he knows. And don't tell me he didn't add a couple extra zeros on that. He probably goosed them too and then bitched about it.
Fucking marked it up like a motherfucker.
Fucking right.
I would.
And that's the thing that pisses me off. It's like, here he is making money on it, and he's bitching about it. I'm like, holy fuck. And meanwhile, he makes like double what I make, and he's complaining about the taxes he pays. Because you pay an extra. He was bitching about they added a fucking
carbon. Motherfucker, I was.
They added a carbon tax that they estimate is going to cost the average household like $130 a year. He makes like double what I make, and he's bitching about his $130 a year. Oh, fucking get me a break.
You just want to just go smack.
Meanwhile, you see the picture of their kid's Christmas fucking tree, and you can't even find the tree in the fucking presents. And
Can't
like,
even see the star.
he's like, maybe, yeah, it was like one of those. It was like one of those
It's-
fucking kinds of Christmas trees with a fucking star. Basically, you can barely see it, and it's like, okay, so all you'd have to do is take back one of those fucking gifts, and you could pay the extra taxes in the year. Like it's such a non-bitch thing to, and don't get me wrong, if they I know if they nickel and dime you here, they nickel and dime you here, and it all adds up. But I mean, come on, nothing's
They
fucking
fuck you,
free.
they fuck you, they fuck you.
But these people that think that everything's free in the world, oh my god. Like, oh, it's gonna cost money to switch to solar, switch to whatever. Yeah, welcome to
You know
reality.
it is free. Listening to Way Off Topic Radio, baby.
Here, I'm gonna end it on this. My dad has solar, geothermal, and solar heat. Solar power, solar heat, and geothermal heat. And he generates money off that shit. And,
That's awesome.
And if
Isn't
he had
that where you go like 60 feet or 70 feet down on the ground and come back up?
well, his is in a lake loop, which is even better. So it goes out into a lake and sits in the silt on the bed of the lake. So it sucks, and you're never gonna freeze that lake up. So there's an infinite, essentially, as far as there isn't, but for intents and purposes, for a house, there's an unlimited amount of energy in that lake. So, and the thing is, you're not really, you could say, well, you're either cooling or heating the lake, but you're not, because in the summer, you're going to be adding heat to the lake, yes, but in the winter, you're actually pulling heat out of the lake. So you actually... Well, no, not somehow. It's energy.
No, I get how things work. Yeah.
Like there's absolute zero, and then everything above that is energy that you can essentially absorb, right? So you've got
your house.
Well, absolute zero is negative 273 degrees Celsius. So I mean, it's fucking cold. So I mean, that's the coldest it can get in the universe, and they can't. Yeah, 273.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Dude,
this is my ball game, buddy. When people start talking about cooling moonlight and shit, that's when my teeth start to fucking grind.
Yeah, I was watching this YouTube video from SEA or C. I don't know. I think it's his initials, but the videos he makes are just mind-bendingly fucked, dude. Like my brain leaked out of my ears today from what he went over.
Like that too.
But maybe we'll go over that next time because that's getting a little bit deep into something.
Well, we're at an hour and 36. I guess we could start to wrap it up.
So let's end this here now. And like maybe next week we'll do a space type of version because I really want to get into what he talked about.
We could write down a few topics, and then that way, as we way off it, we can go way off topic of our topics.
Exactly, like we always do. So, so where can they find all of your stuff out there, buddy?
I am Brainy Beaver on YouTube. You can find me at, well, it's just Brainy Beaver. If you search it, I'll come up now. That's the beauty of that. And then at shaved_beef.
Search Brainy Beaver pops right back up.
Does it? Well, probably for you because you've been searching it. You got to remember, YouTube learns you as a person as well.
Yeah, I know.
But if you type just Brainy, I think. But yeah, no, do the Beaver. Yeah. If you get the only Brainy, there's a Brainly channel. 2.43 subscribers.
I'll share you the video, dude. You got to watch this video. It's fucking awesome. It's mind-bending awesome.
Man, this bitch ended up putting out 9 videos and got like 2.4. How does that happen? I've got 100 videos almost, and I've got 3.5. Well, these people that have like 9 videos on their channel, and they have like 3,000 subscribers or something bullshit.
It's probably because they bought them.
Well, they just had one runaway video. But either way. And then, Frank, where can they find you? They're going to be able to find us on fucking Podbean when he gets on there and fixes that.
It'll be fixed by the time you're listening to this or watching it or whatever, because
but they can't because they have it on Podbean.
But yeah, I always just say Red Dragons Radio or just go to iTunes.
But it's not, dude. It doesn't show up anywhere because none of that is updated.
It will. I
can't even find it on Red Dragon Radio. Like when I search Red Dragon Radio, I don't even know where it is. So that's a terrible one to give people.
RedDragonsRadio.com or go on Twitter. Yeah. Just go to Way Off Topic Radio on Twitter. Drop the A because Twitter sucks my balls with the length of the title.
Well, there it is. Jesus, are we like on the front page at all? Way Off Topic. Way Off Topic. Hey, we are.
Yeah, I told you we are.
We're magical. But you still don't have it updated because it brings you to Podbean.
Well, that's all it is. It's just the Podbean embedded player.
That's fine, but yeah, okay. So we will get this updated. By the time you listen to this, it will be
Yeah.
updated because you're apparently listening to it.
Yeah, because he really doesn't do much to it. He just it's an embedded Podbean player that.
No, I get it, and I understand. I was
It's just
trying
a central
to find.
hub with other podcasts on
Well,
it.
no, this is actually the best I've been able to find it. I don't think it was showing up properly for me last week. Maybe their website was not working right.
Yeah, I don't like, dude, because what you screenshot me, I'm like, I don't know where you got that from because this is.
It was
what
the
I'm getting.
fucking Weebly.com shit and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at here.
Because I screenshot. I was like, I don't know why you're having such a problem here.
Yeah, because all I could get was like that logo image to show up Red Dragon Radio, and it was a weird. Anyways, okay, they might have been having web page problems. So, anyways,
it was possible because I was just like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
But anyway, so by the time you listen to this, that will be fixed. So you will be finding us on Red Dragons Radio and Podbean as well.
Yes. Yep.
And
so,
yeah, I think that's it. And if you haven't seen my latest video, it's Nathan Thompson, and it's him being a filthy human being. Check it out; it's doing okay. So
Yeah, he is a piece of shit. So hey, but we need pieces of shit like him.
We do. I'm surviving on them right now.
Fuck yeah! Just so keep on being dumb.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Right on. Well, until next week, and Phoenix, hope you're feeling better, buddy.
Yeah, buddy, come on back. We'll have you next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, me too. So, all right.
Foxy's Lone Wolf was already out too, so we're out. Frank, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, buddy. I apologize. I'm bad at this.
No, it's okay. Dude, you're getting better at the podcast thing. See, when someone talks, you stop and you go back and forth. It's
Isn't it a competition on who can fucking outshout the other person? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, because people can understand two people talking at once.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, yeah, I get it.
See? Perfect. See how that just worked? Yeah, hell yeah.
There you go. See? It'll get better.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I mean, he's a YouTuber, guys. Give him a break.
We just shout over each other and fucking, it's all vitriolic.
Yeah,
Anyway.
There's plenty of... Dude, we have plenty of time to get your thought out.
We got to get you sorted into YouTube, me sorted into podcasting. We'll find a nice happy ground in the middle.
Exactly.
Anyways, as we were saying, we're doing this forever. So yeah, we'll get out, everybody.
Peace.
See you later. Bye bye.
I'll add some song.